So many of us MMA fans are heartbroken to know that Khabib Nurmagomedov will be retiring officially. Not maybe, but definitely. If there were any questions, this statement should sum it up. Sure, it sucks. He's my favorite fighter by a country mile. Actually, he's my favorite fighter of all time, only under my former mentor, George St. Pierre. But I'm a bit biased. There's obviously a strong correlation in their fighting styles. A strong jab, impeccably timed takedowns, and top control. In my opinion, this is the best style for young fighters to develop if they want to have a long career. Sure, if you want to be a crowd pleaser, bonus winner, maybe adopt a Mike Perry style.
I'll knock your old ass out too. You do it, motherfucker, you fat piece of shit. Hey, no. Hey!
But I'm not too sure how that story will end. How do you feel about this retirement? Do you think it's premature, or is it the right way to go? Khabib has done so much over the tenure of his career. He's represented his faith, country, and father with the utmost respect and dignity. Never once did he seem to deviate from his morals. It may not seem it, but imagine going from living in a small village in the mountains of Dagestan to all of a sudden being a world-famous multimillionaire. Imagine the women, seedy, sinewy individuals who will attempt to corrupt you. I can assume it was tough to stay focused on his truth. Not everyone can remain humble and a decent human being.
I'm going to call my lawyer to ask him about this paperwork.
Okay.
I'm sure I have the right to do that, buddy.
So for that, I commend Khabib. Word just broke today that Khamzat Chimaev will be returning to Smash People, which is great. This leaves us with two Smash artists, Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev, to help fill the void left with the departure of Khabib. Something that always made me think was the peaks and valleys in a combat athlete's career. How short-lived their lives are as fighters. One minute you're on top of the mountain, and the next minute your team and family are sitting you down to have that talk about retiring. Fighters, more than any other professional athlete, struggle with transitioning from active competitor to retirement. Substance abuse and depression usually follow a fighter's career. It makes sense though. If you consider what motivates a person to become a pugilist in the first place, there's no surprise so many struggle with identity issues. When you go your whole life with the narrative of I'm a fighter, everyone sees me as a fighter, everyone asks me about my upcoming fight, and everyone looks at me as a rare and special person, what happens when all that goes away? You see, mixed martial artists rarely get good at anything else. This isn't because they're dumb or incapable, it's because there's not enough time or energy in the day. The job requires every ounce of your being. In order to become the best, you must sell your soul to it, which, as I've said before, often ends horribly. It sucks to see a fighter like Anderson Silva or Chuck Liddell go from being damn near invincible to being shells of themselves. And I'm talking about guys who became all-time greats. They struggle with identity and adjustment to normal life. They made millions. They don't necessarily have to fight. Fortunately for Khabib, he took virtually no head trauma in his perfect record and is incredibly wealthy. We can only hope that will be enough to keep him out of the cage. But truthfully, that's never enough. Khabib needs a new purpose, something so powerful that the idea of fighting seems silly and ridiculous in comparison. It probably surprises you that I'm hoping Khabib stays retired, but I am, because I'm not selfish like most fight fans. I know once a fighter retires once, that they should never come back. There is no turning back time. This goes back as far as 1910, when the great Jack Johnson, America's first black boxing champion, fought Jim J. Jeffries. Jeffries was retired for over 6 years and had gained over 100 pounds. He had to lose 100 pounds to come back. He came back and Johnson beat him mercilessly. It was a one-sided beatdown from bell to bell. And the story has been the same ever since. If you are retired, do yourself a favor and stay retired. I'm not interested in seeing another legend fall from grace. Not to say that I'm a fan of Jim J. Jeffries. He was a racist piece of shit.
This fellow Johnson is a fair fighter, but he is a black. And for that reason, I will never fight him. If I were not champion, I would as soon meet a Negro as any other man. But the title will never go to a black man, if I can help it.
But the point is the same. If you are retired, stay retired. Khabib has done it all. Undefeated, barely ever lost a round, and really revolutionized grappling for MMA. The man has had a deep impact on my system of grappling for MMA, which is evident on this channel. By the way, you can click the upper right-hand corner to watch some of my Khabib-style content. I know you'll find value from it. But all great things come to an end. Fortunately for us, he went out on top. We're left with his library of great fights. There's seminar footage, there's channels like mine that document some of his techniques. I mean, there's so much great content out there and fight information and footage of him. So it's not like we're lost without a digital footprint of what he's been able to accomplish over time. And most importantly, unlike other fighters, he went out on top. So Khabib, thank you for everything. I hope you stay retired. And as a true fan, I think that you've done so much to change the trajectory of the sport, and you've done it for the better. And most importantly, Khabib, you went out with dignity, unlike some fighters we know.
UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones faces yet another day in court on DWI and weapons charges in New Mexico.